Hey folks, well, gosh, what a long week this has been. I hope everyone who's seeing me right now is doing well. I hope you're safe and sound, and I hope you've prepared for next week after we've had this first week, which really kind of seems like the first week of people taking seriously the staying at home situation. So I know in my household, we've been home for about 2 weeks. We started uh, social distancing about a week ago, and then we've had this last week. So, whew, long week. I know, especially for folks with kids, maybe it's new too if there are no schools. So I hope you're all doing well and kind of settling into some new patterns and some new ways of being. So part of the reason that we're putting out these videos is, again, because we don't get to see a lot of our customers in our cafes right now. We are still doing business out of them, but of course, it's just fewer people are coming in, and that's probably as it should be, right? So we're trying to reach out more in more creative ways to all of our friends all over the US who've been our customers and our champions for the last 35 years that we've been roasting and selling coffee. And along with the creative ways of reaching out and seeing you all also comes some creative things that we're doing now. You've probably seen, if you are on Facebook or Instagram or on our Twitter feed or on our blog, us talking a lot about this new product we have. This is our single serve coffee, steeped Dancing Goats. And so it's our Dancing Goats coffee, the same Dancing Goats that you can buy wholesale at our stores or online, but it's placed into these sachets. I'm going to open one here so you can see what it looks like. All right, so opens up, and here we have it. Look at that. Just like a tea sachet, a little more space in them than a tea sachet, right? Because we're going to put it into a cup for a single serving of coffee, and we'll be able to produce this cup of coffee in about 5 minutes. And that's the extent of the brewing right there. We open the package, we put the sachet in the cup, and I'm going to add hot water. So what I do, there's a little bit of technique, as always, right? So I'm going to add a little bit of water, and then I'm going to kind of just, you've done this with your tea sachets before probably, right? A little bit of agitation there, just like we try to agitate our coffee in almost all of our brewing methods. You saw me do it with the Chemex. I did a little bit with the Clever Dripper yesterday. Ben did it when he did the AeroPress, right, with a stir. That's agitation. We're doing agitation here too, just making sure everything kind of gets saturated. And I'll go ahead and just top it off all the way. Now this is for about an 8-ounce cup of coffee. I'm pouring it, this is a 12-ounce cup, so I'm pouring it a little bit low. And then I'll just set my timer. Excuse me for 1 second. Dead air, dead air, dead air. He's not talking. What are we going to do? Okay. Just 5 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to let it steep for about 5 minutes. So why is this a great way to make coffee? Well, we have always prided ourselves on being a yes and company. As you know, we were among the pioneers who started going down to origin, meeting directly with farmers and farming families, building relationships to reach down right to the farm and talk about the coffee we were looking for and the quality we're looking for, and negotiate those prices that pay those premium amounts for that coffee. So we've always taken that as the foundation of our business, the absolute best coffee that we can source from people that we trust and that we do business with in an honest and honorable way. And those relationships, of course, have, no pun intended, borne fruit, right? We have long relationships with farming families whose coffee we know that they take it as seriously as we do. They, maybe more seriously, because it's their land. And so that's always been at the core of our business. And then our cafes, of course, rose up out of the desire to highlight that coffee with using all the techniques and things that we can do to really respect and honor that coffee that our farmer partners work so hard to produce. And so we have to take that really seriously. And that's why we have like really in-depth training programs. Our wholesale customers know that, one of the things that we get to offer are train the trainer systems, right? And certification systems. We have really high levels of certification in our own cafes, and we offer that to our wholesale accounts. Again, this is all about honoring that coffee that we work really hard to source, that we obviously work really hard to roast correctly, and then making sure that it shows up in the cup when you come into one of our cafes or when our wholesale customers serve our coffee, that they're able to really shine just as much as the coffee does by sitting by itself. And we also know there are lots of ways that people need coffee during the day. And there's been a big growth in, quick single serve cups of coffee. And we wanted to, frankly, be able to have that as an option for our customers and maybe even to grow our customer base, but also not sacrifice our quality. And so it was kind of tough. We tried a lot of the kind of soluble coffees, instant coffees, and just we couldn't make sense of it. It didn't represent in the cup. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? It has to taste great. And then we found our friends at Steeped doing this. So the great thing about this is that it's our coffee. We send it to them, they grind it, and we're able to do it in relatively smaller batches, right? So we can order as we need based on our projections of sales, and we're able to control that so that the coffee is being used really similar to our roast to order style of business that we have as a wholesale customer. And that if you come into our cafes or order online, we roast to order. So everything is being freshly roasted as close to your use as possible. At the same time, they're nitro flushing these packages so that we do have a good sustainable shelf life on them. And so when it comes to you and you brew your cup of coffee, this is going to be as close to a cup of Dancing Goats as we can get. And we're not sacrificing quality for this cup of coffee. We're not sacrificing quality for convenience, right? Another thing that really brought us on board was that every component here, the package that it comes in, obviously the sachet and the coffee, it's all compostable. So it fits right into our way of being, the right way as environmental stewards. And so that that too, as someone who will try this coffee, that as soon as we're done with it, I'm able to take this sachet and put it right into my compost. So that's great news. Also, what's nice is not only do we have our regular Dancing Goats, we also have the decaf Dancing Goats. And those have actually done pretty well for us, solely because sometimes you might have just one decaf drinker in the house, and so you get some of these and have nice, freshly brewed coffee that's decaf, that's only a portion of what you're making. And maybe the majority of the coffee in your home is regular coffee. You don't want to buy a whole pound necessarily of decaf. So that's great. All right, we're at 3 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and stop my timer. I'm going to fish out my little sachet here, and I'm going to go enjoy some coffee. Hey, come back here at 9:30. We're going to have the virtual cafe. We're going to just hang out, have a cup of coffee. Come join us. Make some coffee as you can in your own home, and sit down with us for a little bit, and we'll just have a quick conversation. We look forward to seeing your questions in the thread here. Take care.